Hello and welcome to all the men and women of the West. I'm Joe. Today we're continuing our Targaryen Civil War podcast. Now, last time I left off, I discussed how Rhaenyra had decided to turn to the dragon seeds. But there's a lot more to the incident than what I mentioned. That said, let's get into it. It's really Jace's fault that his mother screwed up so badly and that everything that resulted happened. Although, apparently, the fool Mushroom liked to claim the credit. So anyways, what happened was that Velaryon, realizing that the Blacks had many dragons but were in need of riders for these dragons, offered knighthood and riches to any man who might claim a dragon. His sons would be ennobled, his daughters would wed lords. Naturally, this was a good idea, right? And it massively bolstered the number of dragon riders on the side of the Blacks. Well, yes and no. What happened is that Jace's offer gained the attention of a lot more than just dragon seeds. There were a lot of people who presented themselves and were killed or eaten or burnt by the dragons, which included Rhaenyra's Lord Commanders, Sir Steffan Darkland, and even a lord, so that this incident was later dubbed the Sowing of the Seeds or the Red Sowing. There were those who were to claim a lot of the dragons. I'm going to get into some of the noteworthy ones, because why not, before moving on to the next battle. So this is primarily going to be a dragon seed centric video. Anyways, Hugh Hammer and Ulf the White were two of the dragon seeds. The first was a blacksmith's illegitimate son, who bonded with a dragon by the name of Vermithor. Ulf the White was a man-at-arms who bonded with the dragon called Silverwing. And anyone who remembers the old Bat novel Silverwing are probably thinking of that and going, wow, I gotta go reread that. Which, please do, it's a great novel. And Sunwing is even better, I'll add, because Sunwing was just awesome. Anyways, these two were to, after the first Battle of Tumbleton, betray Rhaenyra. It's at this point that most of Rhaenyra's council and her came to believe that none of the dragon seeds could be trusted and ordered their arrest, which was itself bungled because they're not very competent. That said, you had Adam of Hull, who was later legitimized as Adam Velaryon and made heir to Driftmark, and he ended up claiming the dragon Sea Smoke. In the second Battle of Tumbleton, he proved his loyalty. Then we get to the two who tried to claim the same dragon, actually. The first one who tried to claim this dragon is a man by the name of Silver Dennis, who was said to be a son of Maegor Targaryen. This proved to be false, as he had his arm torn off by Sheep Stealer, the dragon in question, and then in turn the fan favorite Nettles was to try to claim the dragon Sheep Stealer, giving it many a sheep every morning before bonding with it. That said, Nettles herself was apparently the lover of Daemon Targaryen, who did not want her to be captured and gave her a good 5 minutes head start before he went off to go suicide bomb his nephew, Aemond. As we can see, for the most part, they weren't very reliable because you gave absolute power, and the equivalent, in Martin's words, of an atomic bomb, to just about everyone. I'm going to offer a bit of literary analysis here rather than just recounting the events, because I do think it's a little interesting. Nettles, of course, gets away because you have Martin's favorite character. You have, in turn, the characters of Hugh Hammer and Ulf the White, who were to become traitors. The power that the dragons gave them was to prove too intoxicating for them. And this in itself is a marked contrast to Adam of Hull, or Adam Velaryon, who proved himself worthy. So out of 3 of the major dragon seeds, 2 of them were unworthy of the power they took up, and 1 of them was. This offers a bit of insight into Martin's thinking about, I think, a lot of human nature, that 2 out of 3 men will become corrupted by this sort of power, while maybe 1 in 3 would probably be stalwart, hold to loyalties. I tend to think it depends, and that it's more than just that. But on the other hand, this is an interesting situation wherein it's noteworthy that Hugh would, after the first Battle of Tumbleton, defect to the Greens alongside Ulf. Apparently, though, the fall of Hugh came from a rather Macbethid type of prophecy, which spoke of a new king arising once a hammer falls on a dragon. That said, things were not helped by the fact that Prince Daeron Targaryen behaved uncouthly with Hugh. Now, that said, Hugh had begun calling himself and styling himself Lord Hammer, and made it clear he wanted to be king, so that Hugh threatened in response to beat the young Targ. And the next day, Hugh wore a crown of black iron, one which a man by the name of Sir Roger Corn knocked off his head, and in turn, Hugh killed the other man. Given everything Hugh does and his major role in the First Battle of Tumbleton, Hugh, though, would end up dying ignominiously to Sir John Roxton, who slew him with a Valyrian steel blade, Orphan Maker, only for Hugh's men to then slay John. If his death seems sudden, that's because it was. As to Ulf, he would end up surviving the Second Battle of Tumbleton. Ulf, though, when he learned that Hugh had died during the battle, he proceeded to proclaim his own claim to the Iron Throne. He would be poisoned by Sir Habal Hightower, who would trick him into drinking poisoned Arbor Gold, with Habal drinking 2 cups, but Ulf drank 3 cups. This in spite of his suspicion of the other man. He soon fell asleep due to the poison, never woke up, which is pretty dumb. So as we could see, most of the dragon seeds were not terribly bright. That said, Adam Velaryon, for his part, ended up making it through to the Second Battle of Tumbleton, would end up fighting well, with Sea Smoke giving its life to destroy Vermithor. Hugh Hammer was the rider of Vermithor, so that the dragon did not long outlive its rider. Adam Velaryon, though, gave his life for his men, and would end up saving, apparently, but he would end up saving King's Landing from Rhaenyra's foes. He would end up, despite being betrayed by Rhaenyra, prove his loyalty and remain faithful to her cause. Notably, the epitaph on his tomb says loyal, which, yeah, so hope this was semi-educational, and the next video will get into more detail on the Second Battle of Tumbleton, as it is an important battle, and then after that I'll continue with the events house by house, I hope. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like and that subscribe button as though you were a dragon burning them down.